I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat them. To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. SayItInACard.com is an online greeting card company that delivers right to your front door. Visit our website, www.SayItInACard.com. You can read the cards, order the cards, and we ship them directly to you. If you feel it, we say it in a card. We have breakup cards, troubled relationship cards, troubled friendship cards, and of course, all of the traditional cards as well, from birthday to Mother's Day. So again, visit us at www.SayItInACard.com. Free shipping for a limited time. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig, the writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Listen, I have a guest today. I met her back in January. She just reminded me. We actually met in January through some mutual friends. We were out to dinner. I had never met her before, and it was just something about her personality that was so infectious. And I just found myself drawn to her, drawn to you. And just through the conversation, she shared with me, or with the table, that she was married and she had, what do you have, 2 kids?
I have 2 boys.
2 boys, right. And she's a career woman. Her husband also works. But she was just saying how she's tired. She said, I'm tired. So we had been planning to do this podcast some time ago. And so Nikki, my assistant, had reached out to her months and months ago. And I had completely forgot that we had scheduled to do this podcast, but we were supposed to do this months ago, and she left you a voicemail, but you were telling me today that the voicemail was crackling and you couldn't get all of the messages. You couldn't hear the entire message, and so you couldn't return the call. And then that mutual friend who introduced us at dinner texted me last week and said, you remember the lady who was at the dinner that day? I just saw her. I just talked to her. Yep. I said, oh my God, put me in touch with her. I still want to do that podcast. But what was fascinating to me was you were talking about, because how long have you been married?
Oh my God, almost 11 years.
11 years. Mm-hmm. And I remember you saying how, you love your husband, you love your boys, but you're tired because you're a career woman. Yes. And you're a modern day woman where you're passionate about what you do and you love what you do, but you're tired and you feel like because you're married, there's this expectation from society, from your family, that you're supposed to still have this traditional woman's role, quote unquote,
absolutely,
in the household. And you're tired when you get home, so you don't always want to do homework or cook dinner or, so I wanted to hear more about that.
Absolutely. I think it starts with, first of all, people have to be honest about what they want. Mm-hmm. Whether you're in, I don't care what relationship you're in.
Right.
You have to be honest about what it is that you really want. And then dig deeper and say, what are my hidden expectations of the person that I'm with in a relationship? Mm-hmm. Like, you really have to get down to that. And what I mean by the hidden expectations, I'm talking about the day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Because it's easy for us to grab kind of the bigger ideas about relationships and say, I want somebody to come home to every day. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when I married my husband, that's exactly what he said. I want somebody to, I just want somebody to come home to, and we share our life together and serve God together. Mm-hmm. But see, you said partner. Now, what's your definition of partner?
Absolutely.
That's the real question.
Because from your vantage point,
you feel like a partnership would be we sharing the household responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Because right now you feel like you're the only one that's doing it.
You got it. We sharing that money making.
Absolutely.
We sharing catching that check. So let's share on the backside.
Right.
Let's share on the cooking.
Yeah.
Let's share on the ironing of the kids' clothes.
Yes.
Let's share on the house maintenance and making sure things are taken care of. Okay, the dishwasher broke. Why do I have to be the one to call
the maintenance person?
Come on
Right.
here. The phone worked in everybody's hand. It works for everybody. But there's an idea, and for some people, it's not an issue because you can have someone that doesn't share in the responsibilities of life, whether it's male or female.
Yeah.
You can have, it doesn't matter who it is. You can have a what I call a dud or do funny. You can have a do funny, no matter who it is in a relationship. But it's you understanding what the other person expects.
Right. Going into it. Now, do you think that your husband feels like your expectations have changed?
No, I think my husband feels, and he's going to laugh when he hears me say this, but he's heard me say it before, so it's not a surprise. He feels like tricked.
Okay, duped.
He feels duped.
Okay.
Because when men say they want wives, and I didn't understand this before I got married.
Make it plain for the people.
Maybe there's some mystical pool of women that understood this, but they never told me.
Make it plain for the people.
When men say they want wives, that's what they mean. They want somebody that's going to cook and take care of them and take care of the house, and you're not supposed to mind doing it and take care of the children and take all the kids to the doctor's appointments. And if you're a black woman, we expect you to work too.
And and that may be part of the reason why when a man experiences a divorce, oftentimes, and I don't know the exact statistic,
Gotcha.
but generally within 2 to 5 years, that man remarries.
Yes, because he's looking for somebody to take care of him.
Absolutely.
Who gonna clean this house? I don't want to clean my own house.
He got conditioned into
who gonna
having
come home
someone.
every day and cook this meal? I want my husband to come home and show up to a plate.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
So tell me that. So is that what happens now, or was that happening and you had to kind of wean him off of that expectation?
That happens now, but it happens because we have children.
Okay.
And he gets the message. I hope you know when they go off to school.
This is no longer.
Won't be this way.
Yeah.
But that's because who wants to work every day, get off from work, come home, and now you got to do homework, and now you got to do, and I'm talking about elbow to elbow homework, because school not like when we went to school. Yeah. These kids have projects and speeches and typing. Homework, you have to cook a meal if you don't, unless you want to eat out every day, you know. And some women have the financial, the way they finance is set up, the bag is set up, they can afford au pairs. They can afford help. They can afford to have someone come in and cook a meal or say, hey, we're going to go out to eat every day. Right. And it's not a financial hardship.
To make those conveniences.
To make it convenient.
Yeah.
But that's not most women.
Yeah.
Most women of color don't have that as an opportunity. We're going to go to work. We're going to come home. We're going to do homework. We're going to cook. We're going to have to clean. We're going to have to get little Johnny, little Becky in the bed. All of that wears you out.
And so do you think he hears you when you say that? And has he stepped up to take on some of the responsibility, quote unquote, that he thinks is yours?
Absolutely. He has come a long way. And let me say this. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
Male or female, nobody's perfect. People have to have an opportunity to grow. People cannot grow in lies. So if you are the person that's angry and mad and sitting over there holding on to what the person's not doing, you're not helping yourself or your relationship. You have to be grown, put your big grown clothes on, and sit down and tell the person you're with, hey, I'm not happy, and here's why I'm not happy. And here is what I need from you.
You know, I say all of the time, and I think it's going in this book that I'm writing now. A part of taking care of yourself is telling people what you need.
Absolutely.
That's
But you have to know what you need.
And you got to know what you need, and you got to be courageous enough to be able to say it without feeling or thinking that it makes you weak.
That's exactly
because
right.
you asked for what you need. Or you can't have this fear that it makes you look or feel insecure.
I agree.
Because you asked for that.
Or expect people to just know, because they don't.
Yeah. That's a huge thing in relationships, because I think we think oftentimes when you get into a relationship that there's some sort of synergy that a person is just gonna know what you think, and that's unfair.
You know, because people grow up different.
Yeah.
My husband, because he was the example for today. Thanks, honey. He grew up in his 2-parent home.
Okay.
His dad went to work, came home. He had a lazy boy chair in front of the TV. And to this day, his mother keeps a huge lazy boy chair in front of the downstairs den TV, even though his father's been dead for 20 years. He would come in, sit down in his chair. His mom would cook dinner and do the homework. She would plate his food, take him his plate and a glass of tea every night.
So that's his demonstration.
That's his demonstration.
That was modeled for him.
Yes. And then when he finished eating, she sent one of his brothers, him and his brothers, he had 4 boys, downstairs to collect his plate and glass. And every night,
Daddy
she
was
will
king.
tell you, every night she did her wifely duty.
Now, did she work though? Did his mom work?
Yeah, she's a school teacher, retired school teacher.
I'm
Now
tired
that's
just
his
hearing that.
that's his model
Yeah.
of excellence and woman, and that's what a wife does. So when I'm at home saying, "You better get here and help me with these dishes,"
He looking at you like, my daddy ain't had to do that.
but what you talking about?
Now, what was your experience though? Did you have a 2-parent household?
I had a 2-parents household, and both my parents worked together. They had a partnering type of relationship.
Okay.
From my eyes, if my mom might make the plate today, but my dad might cook tomorrow and make her a plate. So it wasn't.
Now, where's your husband from and where are you from? Because I think geography plays a part sometimes.
Georgia.
Both are from Georgia? Your parents and his parents?
Yes, from Georgia.
Okay.
Mine are from South Georgia. His are from Atlanta.
Okay.
So
And
you
see-
would have thought my
Right.
parents would have had the more I hate to say
Traditional-
archaic, but traditional.
yeah.
Thank you, traditional style marriage. But they had a very modern marriage, and that's since they were they were trying to make that money and work together, and whoever hand is available, get it done. That
So
was-
fundamentally,
Yeah.
your ideas about relationships are different.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that it can't work, because obviously you've been together now
Yeah.
for 11 years, married for 11 years. But I think that that's the mark that many of us miss. Because we get so consumed prior to the relationship, like when we're in the dating phase.
Yes.
Those are the kinds of questions that a lot of us miss. Like, how were you raised?
Yes.
Because I personally believe that your childhood will always show up in your relationship, whether it's
Yes,
a
it
marriage
will.
or just a relationship. And that includes your dysfunctions. Because we all have a level of dysfunction with us, right?
That's right.
So the way that relationships were modeled for him
Yes.
is what he brings to the relationship. And the
Yes.
way relationships were modeled for you is what you bring. And that's where there's that, for lack of a better word, quote unquote, clash or difference
Yes.
in your approach to relationships. So, one of the things that I always think about, in terms of going into another relationship is asking the right questions.
Yes.
So did you and your husband ever talk about anything like this? Because I don't know if people really talk about that, though, in terms of like roles
Yes,
and
fair
responsibilities.
That's a fair question. In dating, we talked about it. But you talk about it at such a high level. What do you want in a family?
In an esoteric kind of way.
Yeah, it's so feel good. What do you want? You're talking about the picture. What you want the picture to look like.
Yes.
You're not talking about who's actually painting the picture.
And the day-to-day brush strokes, if you will.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Who's painting the picture? Because men love we.
They
I'm not
me.
trying to bash the fellas, but y'all love we.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we need to paint this room.
Uh-huh.
But really what you said is I need to make sure this room gets painted.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
He's saying you, the wife, needs to make sure
Yes,
that it
but
gets
he's
done.
saying the collective we.
Uh-huh,
We
uh-huh.
really means me.
Yes. Yes.
We meaning me. We doesn't mean
Us together.
us together
Right.
or me.
Right.
He doesn't say I need to paint this room. If he says we need to paint this room, he's really saying Angela, you need to paint this room.
Right.
Things like that. When you're dating, you have to get down to what are your real expectations. And we all come into marriage or relationship with expectations that we don't voice. So one of mine was my father was a true provider in the old school sense of the word. He washed my mom's, my car, my sister's car every week. He filled it up with gas every week. I mean, my dad is just a true, even now, I'm a married woman, and my dad is going to do some things to take care of me, because as my dad, he tells me, when I signed on to be your dad, I signed on to be your dad to the day I die. My
Right.
father is that type of provider.
Right.
That's just the way he is.
So let me ask this. Do you think that your expectations of your husband are to rise to what your
yes.
the standard
he
that
had
your
a
dad
very
set?
high standard in his mother, and I had a high standard. I mean, he still gets side eyes. My car is dirty.
Why and your husband probably looking at you like, well, shit, my mother did this.
He look like, girl, you rolled past 5 car washes. Why didn't you ride in there and let the car wash your car? But the man's supposed to wash my. That's a hidden expectation. I never vocalized.
It's so, and that goes back to the point that I was making earlier. We sometimes, and we're all guilty of it. We go into relationships, and sometimes we don't voice a thing. We just expect our partner to be telepathic, and they just know.
Hidden expectations. You have these hidden secret thoughts that you have in your daydream mind about what your relationship is going to be like, what this person is going to do, what this guy's going to... And they have no idea that's wandering around in your head.
Something you said a moment ago, it reminded me of my trainer. He's African. He's from Senegal. And we talk a lot about relationships. And of course, he sees the differences between American culture and of course African culture and relationships, the dynamics between man and wife or man and woman. And he was just telling me how even though his parents are no longer married, his father still takes care of his mom, like all of her expenses.
Come on, that's a provider.
That's just a cultural difference. Like he still provides for her. Like his mom doesn't work. And I was just blown away by that concept. Like, I was blown away.
Yeah. But see, you're blown away by it. But men providing in that way is what I was raised around.
Yeah.
So in my mind, that's what men do.
So
but men don't think that way today, though.
Right.
You know, men don't. Just as women have come forward and we have moved forward in the marketplace more so than in the home life, because we a lot of times with women when we marry in traditional marriages, like that's the one benefit I do feel like same gender loving couples, that's an advantage, is that they get to determine what the relationship looks like. In traditional relationships, that's kind of canned, and the woman is always bucking up against old traditional ideas, as opposed to in same gender loving relationships. You kind of get to negotiate. You get to negotiate and define what's happening. It's
interesting that you look at it that way.
I do.
I've never thought about it that way.
Now I'm not in the same gender.
No. But that's
my outside.
But that is an observation that you can see because you're on the outside of the LGBTQ community.
You get to decide who want to do the dishes,
right? Who
likes doing the dishes, as opposed to. In a traditional relationship,
because you're the female, these are your responsibilities.
I don't like doing dishes.
Right.
There's nothing about me that says I like doing dishes. Happy to cook. I can't stand doing dishes, and won't do laundry. If you want clean clothes, somebody better find the
So was any of this stuff like a point of contention early in your relationship, like when you all first started?
No, I told my husband we were dating. This is what I did to my husband.
Okay.
He came over one day. And we were starting to get serious. I said, look, there's something you must know about me before we go any further. This early in the day. And he said, what? I took him in my room. And before he would come over, I would shove all the clothes in the closet. I opened the closet
dirty clothes.
and said, clean or dirty, just shove them all in there. I opened the closet and said, I do not do laundry. I just need you to know that. I'll take them to the cleaners and I wash when I have to.
Right.
But I am not.
So you're the girl that's going to go to the store and get some extra panties because you just don't want to do.
I'm not that bad. Now I will.
I have done that.
I've never had to do that. I'm not quite that bad. But I am the girl. Well, my husband does the laundry and he's faithful with it. And I thank God for him. He does the laundry. And he'll hang my clothes up in the laundry room. And all I have to do is get my clothes and take them upstairs. And they will live
in that laundry room,
like my closet, and he'll say, "Now look, if I come down here,
so it's not enough that he did the laundry.
Not enough that
you can't even take him upstairs.
And I hook it up. You won't even take it upstairs. Let me get my stuff. You know, but hey, I picked your plate up off the table last night,
right?
Because you got up, left plate, cup, fork right there,
right?
Like you didn't have to walk past the sink. Married life,
right?
I do feel, back to our original statement around you get to negotiate those kinds of things in same gender loving couples. You get to sit and say who want to do the dishes, who wants to do the laundry. And it's not just assumed that one individual, because of their gender, is predispositioned to want to do the housework.
Well, I will offer
want to
this.
take
That
care of
is true,
kids.
but what I will offer you is sometimes those roles are presumed because one guy is more effeminate than the other.
I got
So
you.
the assumption is, oh, well,
You're a feminist, so you want to
yeah,
do girl
so you,
stuff.
you want to do the girl stuff, quote unquote girl stuff.
Right.
You know, so, but I do get your point. I do
Right.
get your point. So are there things that you would do differently? If you had to go back and do it again, would you do it?
No, I would not marry again. I would not marry again.
I was
would
wondering
not.
if you were going to be this honest this time. Because I
Yeah.
remember you saying that when we met for dinner. I remember you saying that.
Oh no, I'm honest. I'm not, you're not gonna catch me. I'm gonna tell my truth. It is what it is.
Okay, that's what I wanna
If I
hear.
don't want to answer what you hear me say, is I'm not gonna answer that.
Right.
But yeah, I would absolutely not marry again. And here's why. Women have made great strides in the marketplace and in the world. Some of my sisters of color out here still bound, and we still got to struggle. But a great many of us we're able to enjoy a level of freedom, and we can go out and get great jobs and travel and live great lives. But when we marry, oftentimes, you return to the 1800s. It's like slavery and servitude. And you are bound to the family. You don't have the same freedoms in the home. As a modern woman, I don't know that I would choose that for my life. If I'd really understood going into it that to a degree it can feel like service all the time, that it's not, marriage is not the place women enter into to be liberated. That's not what happens. Not for most. Now, it can be for some women. You know, some women enter, and if that's what you want for your life, I have some friends that love to serve, and they want to serve, and they want a family to serve. They take pride in creating a home and making a beautiful plate. If you're that woman, you take pride in the throw pillow, girl.
Because you feel that inherently men want someone to be there to help take care of them.
You got
Ultimately,
it.
when their mindset is when they go into a marriage.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that it's possible to strike a balance between?
I do. I think everybody's an individual. Some men don't want to be taken care of. Some men not interested in. My dad wasn't really interested in a homemaker.
Okay.
He wanted you to keep a nice home. But my dad is primary interest, and he'll tell you, I want you out here helping me make money. I wanted somebody that was going to come alongside me, and we was going to work life together and get something out of life. I wasn't interested in, can you bring me a pretty plate? Now, I wanted you to be able to cook. But my dad can cook too.
Right.
So it wasn't, I'm not looking for a maid. I'm looking for somebody that's going to come in, and when we add these numbers up, we made some money. And my parents were definitely that couple. My mom would come in and they would get their W-2s and be like, she'd be like, I beat your daddy this year. He gonna work real hard next year. And he would. But she can't beat me. You know, they were partners in that way. My dad wasn't looking for servitude.
Right.
Whereas my husband, now he doesn't see it that way, but he was looking for someone more like his mom. And his mom did operate in a very servitude kind of manner. I serve and take care of my family, and she still does.
Right.
She still very much serves her family in cooking for them and stuff like that. Like, that's just what she wanted to do. I think that if you are a person that wants to do that as a woman, hats off.
Right.
You know, live the life you dream. If that's the one you dream, go after it, get it, find a man you can serve. It's a man out here that want to be served.
Right.
But if you're the type of person that's more like me and you want to...
That wants to deviate from that.
You want to deviate from that idea. You want to go out here and live your biggest, best dream in life. Then you might want to think about... Do you want family? Because you really cheat your children. I struggled when I was pastoring with what I lost. Every day I chose to be at church or be with a member in need.
Which meant you weren't spending time with your boys.
Yes. My youngest son, when he was 2, didn't even like me. Because he never saw me. He didn't want to live with me. He wanted to live with my parents. My eldest son said to me 2 weeks ago, he said, Mom, Would you be hurt if I told you that I just like being at Mama and Papa, that's what we call my parents, my grandparents, at their house, because it just feels like home to me. Because they spent their very young years more with my parents while me and my husband was trying to build ministry.
Yeah.
And we were always at church or always ministering or always at somebody's bedside or the hospital bed. While we were doing all of that, they were at my parents' house having childhood.
Yeah, in their foundation years.
In their foundation years. I mean, I can't be mad today. I had to work really, 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 really hard to rebuild that connection with my children.
In a different kind of way.
In a different kind of way. And so that they would look at me as mommy. They were confused. They were confused for a long time with who to even call mom. Like, those were secret tears that I cried that nobody knew about. My kids didn't know who to call mommy because mommy was always gone. Mommy is the person who gives care, but my mommy's at church. Those were my hurts and pains while pastoring. So women have to consider, if you want to go out and conquer the world, but you have children at home, if you're going to secretly cry about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, your kids deserve, they didn't ask to be here, so they deserve a fantastic, solid home life. You want to give them the gift of family, and stable family, not crazy family. So I wouldn't do that to my children again.
It's interesting that you say that because my mom raised my sister's boys for a different set of circumstances. My sister was on drugs for many years. And so to your point, my nephews felt and still feel closer to my mom than they do theirs. Now, they have a relationship with my sister, but whenever there's something going on in their life, they call my mom their grandmother first. You know, whenever they need something, they call my mom first. Like when they're looking for solutions, they're going to call my mom first. My sister is their second line of defense.
Yeah.
If they don't just try to figure it out on their own, you know. So I definitely get that.
And my kids was with me. They just were between.
Yeah, exactly. No,
you know what I'm saying? And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
You can't be there for the kids.
Yeah. On a foundation level, on an emotional level, yes.
And women have to think of that when they're saying, "I want to be married. I want to have a family." It's not about you anymore. It's about the children. So when you ask me, would I do it again? I don't know that I would, one, take my children through that. Two, I'm a woman that has dreams, and I have a lot of dreams. And if family impacts your capacity to pursue your passion.
It almost precludes your full potential.
It does, because it becomes the main priority.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you have to constantly think about. If something happens, I don't know, let's say this light fixture here stops working. That's in the room. You can cut on other lights and keep going on with your passion. But your kids need to eat at the dinner table. You can't have the kids eat without a light at the dinner table. So now you got to stop pursuing your passion to fix the light, because it affects more than just you.
Right.
You can ignore it, but the kids can't.
Right.
They have to do homework.
Right.
And everything happens like that. So you have to stop and think about all the little things. Oh, okay, he has a doctor appointment today. Oh, he has this. Oh, and then you can't plan for certain things.
Yeah. Unforeseen things that pop up. Yeah.
Life happens.
So, have you had? I think I remember you telling me this, but you and your husband have had this conversation where you said, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
How does he feel? Does it hurt his feelings? Does he feel, or does he just understand exactly what you're saying? Because it doesn't mean that you don't want to be married now. It just means if I had to revisit this, doesn't mean that you wouldn't be in a relationship with him. You're just simply saying I wouldn't be married.
Yes, it's offensive.
It is offensive.
There's no way to say it that it's not offensive. And this is what he said to me. He said, either way you're set, no matter how you explain it to me, you're saying that your experience with me has taught you that this is something you would never do again.
Oh.
That some kind of way your experience in marriage with me, even though I'm explaining that It's not you, it's the institution.
Yeah.
It's the institution of what it is.
He still personalizes it.
You experience the institution of it
With me.
So at the end of the day, you didn't experience it by yourself.
Yeah, and I see both sides of it. I hear you, but I also hear him. But I truly do see both sides of it. I think they're both independent of each other.
And I just think that it doesn't matter if you are saying, as a woman that wants to marry a man, or even if you don't want to marry a man, let's say I want to marry another woman. Everybody comes with an expectation.
Yeah.
And if you are not prepared to be what that person needs, go do your own thing by yourself.
Right.
But don't yoke yourself up with someone and
In the context of a marriage.
in the context of a marriage.
Because you're not saying don't be in a relationship.
No.
You're saying in the context of a marriage.
Or even if we want to say relationship. If you know you're not going to meet the needs that I have, why are you with me? Why are you dating me if you know you don't want to do anything? If I want to go camping at 2 o'clock in the morning and you don't want to go camping and that's a requirement for me and my relationship, why are we arguing about this? You know you don't want to go camping. Tell the truth and stop camping. Tell the truth. I'll go find somebody that want to camp in the woods at 2 a.m. and you go find somebody that want to go to the spa.
All right. Now, what about couples who... Because I think in every relationship, there are things that you're going to have in common that you both want to do together. But then what about having separate interests? Like, how do you decipher between, I still want to be with you, I just don't want to go damn camping?
That's fine, because some things you don't want to do with your spouse anyway.
Okay. So I guess that's when it gets down to, like, deal breakers. What's a deal breaker for you? Your boundaries and that kind of thing.
Because I might want to go camping and I might not want you with me. But I might want to go camping and I want you with me.
Right.
Because we all have different... My husband likes for us to go do things with his family as a family. I can go do stuff with my family. He ain't ever got to go.
Right.
I don't care. We can go. Me and my family can travel the whole world. And it's just me, my mama, my daddy, my sister, my kids, and we gone. And we'll see when we get back. But if his family takes a family trip,
he wants all
of us have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way he's made up.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. So you might not care if your spouse goes camping, but the next person may care. It might be a deal breaker for them if you don't get up and go camping at 2 o'clock in the morning. I feel let down. I feel like you're never there for me. You don't do any of the things that I like. I don't like being married to you. I'm having a bad experience. You just don't like camping. Tell the truth. You don't like camping.
So, we opened the conversation talking about how you were raised and how your husband was raised.
Yeah.
What messages or how do you think your relationship is modeling for your boys? What do you think you're teaching your boys through the relationship that you and your husband have?
Tradition actually is something that I struggle with. How do I teach this out of my children? One day I was really tired, and I cooked, and I cooked. Then I'm trying to change it. Heavy meals, country meals. You're gonna get fried corn and chops on a Tuesday night. And I was tired this particular day. And my son said, "Mom is so tired. You just really need to go to bed. She's so tired, but she can't because she's our mom and she has to finish cooking and take care of us."
I remember you told me the story when we met.
I couldn't believe it. I was
and you felt trapped. You were just like, well, shit, I am tired.
And they're all sitting there. My husband sitting at the table, the kids sitting at the table, like, bring the plate. And I'm at the stove, like...
But the fact that he had the kind of compassion...
He had the compassion
and the observation.
He observed that I was tired, but in his mind...
He knew you had to finish, even though you were tired, because we got to eat.
Because this your job.
This your job.
This your job, boo.
We can't figure something else out. You just got to finish.
And we sitting here.
Right.
Waiting.
For you.
Waiting.
Tired or not.
Waiting for you to put this plate down. We waiting on these smothered chops. We waiting on this corn.
You can go relax after you do this.
When you finish taking care of us. Because he put that on the back end when she finished cooking and taking care of us.
Oh.
So I got to finish taking care of you. Then I can rest. I can't rest till I finish taking care of you all.
And so how do they take care of you?
One is sensitive to it, and he will say, "Mom, can I bring you something to drink?"
Is this the same one that said that?
The same one that said that.
Okay.
He's a little bit sensitive, and he will offer to do nice things. And he writes me lovely letters and little notes and stuff like that. But the mother too, got a house full of men now. The mother too, say thank you.
And keep it moving.
Keep it
now,
moving.
how are you teaching it out of them? Because I kind of pulled you somewhere else. But how are you trying to teach it out of them? That institution.
I spend a lot of time in conversations. You know, I have open conversations, and I have them in front of my, children. I don't hide from it because they can't learn from it if we hide. And if we're trying to give them an image, then they can't learn. They have to know the relationships aren't perfect, and that the only way you can last 11 years is through conversations, and all of them aren't pretty. You know, some of the conversations are a little louder, a little bit more aggressive than others,
but necessary.
But necessary, as long as you're talking, as long as you're not in the place where you're ignoring each other or you're holding it in. When you stop talking to each other, that means you're no longer working together. Even if you're yelling. Yeah. As long as you're still talking and finding different ways to say the message and communicating, you're still having a relationship. But it's a constant conversation, and it's constantly bringing that person back to where you are. I say to my husband all the time, what do you want? Or you giving out on me, you starting to act like your daddy. I need you to come on and get back in the game with me a little bit. I need you to help share the load a little bit. And then I have to back off from saying it too, because after a while, I have to realize that for him, while he's coming forward a little bit, I also have to go forward a little bit, because that's a part of him
meeting in the middle.
Yeah, that's a part of him feeling like, what do I get out of being married to you? Yeah. Everybody needs to feel like they benefit from the union. Yeah. So his benefit is he does need to be taken care of, and I have to figure out what part of that am I going to be okay with. So I make the plate and put it down.
You just set it down like that?
No. I set it down nicely.
Oh, okay.
We use cloth napkins.
I wish y'all could see the way she gestured her hand, and I put it down.
I just put it. I make the plate, and I said it before, man. And then and now when I do it, he'll say, "Oh, you want something, huh? You want something?" But it's not that I want anything. Right. He knows that. But I'll set the plate down, and if he leaves it, sometimes I'll pick it up instead of fussing about it. I just pick it up
because some of it is not chauvinism. Some of it is just the way he was raised. That's what he saw.
That's what he's seen. Yeah. That's what he wants. He wants to see the plate picked up. I do it some. Just like he does the laundry. Right. His daddy didn't do laundry at all. Right. So I'm he a step ahead. He at least doing laundry. Yeah. So sometimes I have to do that and be more vocal about asking for what I need. And just y'all hear it all the time. Communication is key, but it really is communicating before you get angry and tired, before you are the person is tired of hearing you, because people get tired of each other. So the sooner you learn to be able to say exactly what you need before the person gets disinterested in hearing you, that's better for you. Say it quick, hit it early. Because after you've said 8 things that didn't say the one thing you needed, by the time you say the one thing you needed, they not listening anyway. They're tuned out.
You're right.
They don't want all her child. You should have said that 8 times ago. You should have said that first. Right. So learning to do all of those things, managing that's how we make it work. We constantly talk. We talk all the time. And figuring out how to talk quick.
I think this is going to...
Going somewhere quick, and then we hit a little topic and leave it.
Spot and go, touch and
go.
Little
touch and go. Let's touch this right quick and move on. Sometimes we think we're gonna touch it, and then we end up somewhere in the car for 2 hours because the touch and go lasted. Right. It's not always easy, but you have to hit the hard things. Recently something I hit with my husband was, I said, you know what? And I caught him in passing. I did it so well. Sometimes you got to get it just right. I said, you know what I realized? I was cleaning up, and I fed him good. He was nice and full. He sat at the kitchen table. I done got his plate. I hit him good. I said, I realized you don't share a lot with me. I said, we talk all the time, but you're not really telling me your goals and dreams, or you've stopped kind of doing that, as well as you stopped telling me the things that frustrate you. Now we talk about things all the time, but you're not giving me that kind of underneath stuff. I said, and I got enough sense to know you're talking to somebody. I need that conversation to come back to the house.
Now wait, what were you in? Wait a minute.
Now I'm in the kitchen washing dishes, and I just hit it real smooth. He said, "You think I'm talking to somebody?" Now that's not how my husband talks, because my husband raised by 2 teachers, so he doesn't sound like that at all. He has a very educated sound. You think I'm talking to someone? I said, "Well, I know you're not talking to me."
Did you think he was talking to someone?
I know that people talk to people. People communicate.
But you're not suggesting that you think there was
I'm
an emotional connection outside.
I'm suggesting that you're talking to your brother. You could be
Correct.
talking to your cousin.
Right.
You could be talking to a woman, but
Right.
that conversation should be here.
Right.
It should be here. Because, see, it might start with your brother.
Right.
And then it might move over to Becky with the good hair.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to have to snatch her and you.
Right.
So, no.
So what did he say?
He said, well, I'm not talking to anyone. I do talk to my brothers.
Uh-huh.
He said, but I'll do a better job. I said, okay. So then he starts talking to me about something yesterday.
Right.
And I got irritated.
Why?
And I blew up. I didn't realize he was trying to talk to me. I just
Oh my God! So you didn't.
I missed the clue when he was trying to talk to
Now
me.
you just said to the man, "I need you to talk to me."
I
And then
need
when
you
he
to
trying
talk to
you,
me. And then when he did, I blew my stack. I lost my marble. And I went
based on what he was talking about.
Based on what he was talking about. He didn't tell me that he was trying to share. He just started sharing. And I got irritated because of what he was sharing. So I didn't do right yesterday. And then he waited to the end and said, let's see, you said I don't share and talk to you. And when I did, I want you to realize this is how you acted.
And what did you say?
I want you to reflect over this entire conversation from beginning to end. Tell me what you think about how you behave.
And
I said, I'll figure out phone with you. I don't want to talk to you no more today. I'm done talking to you, sir. Sir, I'm finished. I'm talking to you later. And he said, nope, you're going to stay on this phone talking to me.
okay.
Now I know you're ready to get off the phone. You done now. Because he was absolutely right.
Did you tell him that?
Yeah. I said, you're right.
Well, no, we want to hear what you said. Just like you told us. What did you say?
I said, you are right. I apologize. I'm sorry. I did not handle that well. What I heard was you not understanding where I was coming from. And so I started defending
Right.
and not listening. I said, so I apologize. And I'll work on it. Don't stop sharing, please. Please don't stop sharing.
I think this podcast is really going to help some people. I really think there are going to be a lot of light bulb moments, especially for women. You know, not just women, but especially for women, because I think there are a lot of women who feel and think the way that you do and may not have the freedom or feel the freedom to say it as openly as you do, out of fear of offending their husband or, you know, being less popular in a conversation, you know, with their girlfriends or family or whomever. So I appreciate you coming on and having this conversation.
Well, there are no secrets. The only secret is to the other. Now, for women, single women, the only secret is to them. Because if you share this sometimes with single women, they think you got to do funny. Other married women know the truth.
Right.
We know when you putting on.
Right.
And when a woman is sincerely in one of those marriages that's not traditional, where the man is helping out and supportive and is engaged and connected,
Checked in, dialed in, present,
all the way,
participating in the relationship
with the kids. There's no pretense there. You can tell by the way she moves and comments and the things that she says. She'll say stuff like, "Oh, Terry's putting dinner on tonight."
Right.
Oh, I don't know what Terry cooked. He's cooking tonight.
Right.
The things that they say, there's no pretense there.
Right.
See, when they doing all that other stuff, you got everything the rest of us got. You got traditional marriage. You burdened down. You tired. You got the house, the kids, the husband. If you have something different, your language changes.
Your language is different. Yeah.
Your language, and trust me, wives are dialed in. Women are dialed in to the language. And then we start to ask, how did you get him to? How you get him to cook dinner? Girl, how you get him to? You got him to do what? How you get him to? Because we trying to learn.
Right.
We want to get a marriage hack. Tell me how you got your man to do. And really, it's up to the man.
Yeah.
It's really the man that has to decide how he wants to move in life. I know a lot. I know that's different. Because we hear other people say a woman help a man be a man, and we can push a little bit. We can push him a little bit. But when you see a man that's really flourishing and it seems like a woman is pushing him, she's not pushing him all that much. He's going, and she's just being a little force behind him to go a little further.
Right.
She's helping him go a little bit
And
further.
maybe helping guide.
She helping guide. But if you don't want to go nowhere, you can't make somebody do or be something they don't want to be.
Right.
If a man is interested in saying, I want to be connected with more connected in his family, and he's trying to engage, she might help him engage better, but he has to already want to be engaged and be trying to engage. If he's into the TV, you can't get him out from in front of the TV unless he want to be. You might could get him up for a second, but he gonna go right back to where he want to be, which is in front of the TV.
Thank you guys for listening to this podcast.
Okay, I can talk forever. Thank you for having me.
You're
here.
welcome. Thank you for
glad
coming.
to be
I'm so
here. I enjoyed it.
glad we got a chance to do this, because again,
Yes.
I always try to have different conversations, ones that will hit different people in different ways, and I think this is definitely one of those conversations. If this is your first time listening to So Much to Say, please hit the subscribe button or follow button, depending on where you're listening. Please share this podcast with your friends, your family, your social media. And we have a brand new show each and every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And more information about me is available at CraigTheWriterStewart.com. My Instagram is also CraigTheWriterStewart. Be safe. Keep loving yourself.
One of the best parts of life is when you can admit the truth to yourself about yourself. Cyberspace is a world where one can become something he isn't, but everything he dares to be. I wasn't interested in getting attached to anyone, and I knew I wouldn't take anyone I met online seriously. I had multiple screen names to increase my chances of meeting someone attractive. The majority of the profiles noted HIV negative under status, but I knew better from the work I had done in the HIV community. I knew 1 out of 3 black gay men was positive. The messages I found in my inbox validated me in my depression. In some strange way, they reinforced that I was worthy and deserving. My days consisted of waking up and logging on to see how many messages had accrued overnight. Months passed before I got honest with my therapist about what was happening with me. And before I knew it, I heard myself say, I've been having sex with people I meet online. To listen to more of Words Never Spoken in Memoir, visit audible.com.